So, what does it take to write and finalize a screenplay for a movie? Hi, my name is Joe. I am a filmmaker based in southern Utah. I am a content creator for a living. I host a bunch of podcasts, and I am doing this vlog series to document the making of my next movie, Chicken Coop. If you want to learn more about that project, the link will be in the description. Okay, so this was actually a submitted question, which I very much appreciate on my little YouTube channel here. This is from my friend Krinital, who asks, "Hey Joe, great vlog." Thank you. Question, what does it take to make and finalize a script? Which I interpreted as, what does it take to write and finalize a script? And I'll answer the last part first. The screenplay is never done until the movie is finished. That's what I truly believe when it comes to when is a screenplay finalized. So the last two vlogs, and this one too, they have all been about the script. We've been doing read-throughs for Chicken Coop with the actors. Before that, for months and months, I've been throwing my screenplay out to friends, filmmaking friends, anybody who would be willing to read it and give me really honest, good feedback on the screenplay. And I've been going back and forth doing many drafts. We're on draft number 12 right now. And I will be working on the screenplay for Chicken Coop until, well, till the day that it's finally shot and done and put in the can, as it were. So, what does it take to write a screenplay? Well, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of patience. I'm not a professional writer. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some sort of a screenplay expert. I'm not a screenplay guru. All I can tell you is, what I've seen from friends and what I do. So let me tell you, well, what I do. So generally, and I've written about a dozen screenplays, and Chicken Coop was my 9th or 10th. Where it all starts is with an idea. So if you got a cool idea for a scene or a character or a world, and you want to, and that image or whatever it is won't let you go, well then what I do when I come across an idea in my head, usually when I'm just driving around or in the shower or something like that, is I then try to find my way in as a storyteller. The first thing I figure out is who the main character is and what they want as the movie unfolds. And then I write down, this character wants this, but this is in their way. I write it almost in like a log line type form. And then I sit on it for a little bit. And if the idea still won't let me go, then I start writing. Now, I used to outline a bunch. I used to think that that was the way to write. Turns out that every writer is different. Some writers do really well with outlines. I tend to be less creative with outlines. So what I usually do is I take that singular thread that I've come up with about a character who wants something and something's in their way, and I just start to write and I see where it goes, because when I have to kind of go through that character's mind and figure out the next scene and then the next scene, I have to figure out kind of like, I have to solve the problem with the character. For me, that's kind of like the really good, that's the more creative way of doing it. I have outlined a lot in the past. 13th Cross was outlined, and I feel like I could have just been way more creative and daring had I not outlined, if I didn't feel like I had to stay on the train tracks while I was going along. Now, that does mean when you write like that, there will always be way more rewriting that needs to happen, especially when it comes to like large plot threads. It's an easier way to screw up. As far as my writing process on Chicken Coop was for the first draft, I wanted to write a movie that took place all in one location with just a couple characters, so that if I had to, because this was right at the beginning of COVID, if I had to make a movie with no people and no budget, I could. And I could film it at my parents' house. And, you know, I knew I wanted to make another movie, and this was kind of my way into that without spending a whole bunch of money. So that's where the project started, and it was stream of consciousness. I came up with 3 characters, and they each had their own, problems, and they each had their own arc, and they each had their own thing that they were going for during the course of the story. And I just threw them together, and I started having them talk, and that's what the movie became. Now, the movie that I wrote I believe I wrote that first draft in 4 days. I believe in a fast first draft, by the way. 4 days is the fastest I've ever gone, but I would say 5 pages a day is a good minimum pace for writing. At least it is for me. Otherwise, I won't finish the screenplay. I have a lot of screenplays that end at about page 30, and that's always been a problem. So if I don't have momentum, I can't finish a screenplay. So I wrote this one in 4 days, the first draft, and it's very different from what it was at the beginning. It was messy. It had tons of problems, but then I take that first draft. And of course, it was 46 pages too long. I then had to cut it down and cut it down and cut it down in subsequent drafts. And I think at about draft 4, maybe 3, that's when I started showing it to other people. And then, I have a mastermind group with some of my really good friends that do art for a living, basically, or they're really good at what they do. And kind of have the support group over Facebook Messenger, and I'd send the screenplay, and someone would read it, and we'd go back and forth and have notes. I actually wrote the screenplay of Chicken Coop to be for someone else to direct, but then the more that I wrote the movie, because I've always been interested in just producing someone else's film, but the more that I wrote the movie, the more attached to the screenplay that I became. So now I'm directing it, and I really love the screenplay, and it got to a certain point where I was really proud of it, and people really loved it. And I guess when you say when is a script finalized, I guess that was the point in which I was like, okay, let's cast it. And we started casting it, and we started getting a team together, and we're still doing drafts of the screenplay, and we're working our way to making the movie Chicken Coop. So anyway, that's how I write. That's how I make a script, and that's how I finalize a screenplay. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to say about screenplays. I have a few here that I like to look at sometimes. They're on my wall. There's one that I read pretty much whenever I'm doing a rewrite. This is the script that I read as far as how it's written in the description and the dialogue. I think Michael Clayton is just, as a piece of prose, it's a piece of prose writing. It is absolutely fantastic, and it reminds you of what economy of words is, and it's just wonderful to have on your shelf. So go get yourself that Michael Clayton screenplay. I love these movies. They aren't really good to study though because they're foreign films, but this is Parasite. It has the script and the storyboards. Translated script and the storyboards for Parasite. So that's a really good, cool thing to have on my wall. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The writing process on this movie was crazy. So the script is in English, and it was written by James Schamus, whose native language is English. But the process on that movie was, I believe that they had to I think he wrote the first draft, and then they had 1 or 2 Chinese writers do drafts of the screenplay, and then they would have it translated back to James Schamus, and they had to make a movie because they were trying to make a movie that would appeal to both Western and Eastern audiences. And so it's a crazy writing process on that movie. The finalized script is James Schamus, but it's really not a good script to read for, like, this is how you write a script, because it's definitely not. It's a bizarre script, but an amazing movie. And then this, Emma Thompson's Sense and Sensibility, Screenplay and Diaries. I love this little book. I love her diaries talking about the making of the movie and the writing of the script. And that's just really inspirational. And her commentary on Sense and Sensibility with the producer is fantastic. Also, James Schamus and Ang Lee have a commentary that's also really good, although it's not about writing. Anyways, guys, if you found this entertaining, if you found this helpful, whatever, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more Chicken Coop related vlogs. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. It can inspire me to do another video. I'm going to try to do these daily as long as I can. Guys, please check out our landing page for Chicken Coop. And if you want to poke around my YouTube channel and see my like dumb short films I made in high school or whatever, you are free to do so. I hope you guys have a great day. See you later.